The classic coin-operated Space Invaders was originally developed so that all the enemies moved at the same speed. However, as players destroyed the alien invaders, the computer had fewer objects to draw, so it could render the objects faster. The result, as you destroy critters, the remaining ones march towards Earth faster. Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long holiday and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Ralph, joined by my co-host and sexy Persona Lady aficionado, Alex.
Oh, yep, that's what I'm known for.
How are you, Alex?
I'm doing great. Today is January 2nd, 2021, hopefully a lot better than 2020. So
New year, new you.
Yeah, and normally when we record these, we usually have like an alcoholic beverage, just to ease into the weekend, ease into some video game conversations. But yesterday was National Hangover Day, so I'm just drinking water today.
Oh my god. Well, today we're kicking off episode 16. We're back from our 1 week break, and we're ready. We're really glad to have you back. As always, thank you to everyone who's listened to our podcast, and if you're tuning in for the very first time, welcome.
Welcome.
So, Alex, this holiday season, were you winning?
Yes. Are you winning, son? Yeah, I guess play a lot of games and, just took advantage of the long weekends, and it's been really great. So,
what games are you playing?
So we did the old swapperoo for some PS5 games. At launch, I got Demon's Souls. Ralph got Spider-Man Miles Morales, so we both beat them, and then so we swapped. So I had the pleasure of playing Miles Morales, and one thing that they implemented after its launch, I think after you beat it, was the new kind of performance mode. So there's 60 frames per second, 4K, and
with
ray tracing. Yeah, so I definitely I played on that mode, and it was insane. So I'm not a PC gamer, so this was my first time playing a game with ray tracing. Really, I know Ralph has showed to me because he turned into a PC master race person.
God, stop.
So yeah, I was playing some Miles Morales on that, and ray tracing it's so cool. I feel like sometimes
Did it change your life?
Did it change my life? Kinda.
Okay.
In a gaming perspective, I'm like, this is ray tracing it's super cool. It's kind of a game changer. I'm really excited to see it become the norm. I will say there are times where I'm like, this is unrealistic. The floor should not be this shiny. You know what I mean?
Well, they make everything metal and everything so shiny now that we need to make sure it's reflecting.
Yeah. But what's really cool is his suit. Unlike a lot of Miles Morales' suits, you could see ray tracing on that, which is pretty awesome. So if there's an Iron Man game that isn't Marvel's Avengers because it's trash.
Yeah.
They'll, I could definitely see some awesome ray tracing with that. So it's cool just because this is the start of something great. And I can't wait to see where it goes. So
yeah, what's cool about that too is that yes, there is ray tracing in Miles Morales, but it was very limited, honestly, because with the ray tracing in Miles Morales, a lot of it was just reflections. So it's just reflections the entire time. But for instance, in Cyberpunk, they do reflections. They also do the shadow ray tracing.
Right.
They also do the lighting ray tracing, which takes up a lot of memory and bandwidth from your graphics card. So eventually when that stuff gets implemented on the PS5, I'm really excited to see a full breadth of ray tracing capabilities on those platforms.
Yeah, for sure.
What else are we playing?
Yeah, so I guess final thoughts on Miles Morales. So it's $50, is that right?
No, it's 40, right?
Okay, I thought it was...
maybe it is 50.
I thought the standalone Miles Morales game was 50, and I thought the Ultimate Edition that comes with the remastered original Spider-Man...
No, it's 40.
Okay.
I think it's 40 because... sorry, no,
I'm asking you these hard-hitting questions, huh?
Professionally casual.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's been a long holiday weekend.
I can look it up.
Okay, so my thought is it was a fun game. It's cool because it's got the haptic triggers, especially when you're swinging, and when your phone vibrates, because I think it's in his right pocket, so the right side of the controller will slightly vibrate. It's cool to show off what the PS5 can do, like the lack of load times. You're just swinging through the city. It's just like insane how much of it is like pre-rendered.
Yeah, it's $50.
Okay, so I personally would, like, again, Ralph and I just swapped. I would wait till this is like 40 or $30. However, I think if you buy this one and the original Spider-Man for $70, I think that's a great deal.
Well, yeah, this one's pretty short. Right?
Yeah, it's like, I think my game time was like 8.5 hours.
Yeah, you didn't do a lot of the side quests, did you?
I did a lot of the ones. So you play as Miles Morales, obviously, and then so Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man, he sets up like training stations for you, like around the city. I did a lot of those because those were really fun. That was kind of it. Because the other side quests are just like fetch quests, basically.
Right.
Which I wasn't really about.
What do you call it? One thing I do want to note about Miles is, because I didn't really get a chance to talk about it since you played it already, it's a good way to segue into that. When I was playing it, it was weird because I appreciated Miles' character so much more than Spider-Man, like Peter Parker. Okay. Now that I've played Miles, it feels as if I don't really know who Peter Parker is. Like, yes, you know, Peter Parker is like a lot of, with great strength comes with great
power comes great responsibility.
Can't even quote it correctly.
Uncle
you know
Ben's
I mean?
soup or his rice, whatever.
Right, but like that's kind of it, right? He's super smart. Like, he's Spider-Man, he's in love with Mary Jane, whatever. But, like, with Miles, the way they built this game, you know what kind of music they like, you know who, like, his best friend is, his mom, what they're doing. Like, I feel like it was much more of a complex character.
Yeah, the characterization for Miles Morales
is so much better. Like,
it's richer. He's more of a full.
It's like defined, character. Right? So maybe that's on purpose, right? With Peter Parker, you're supposed to see that, you can be Spider-Man. Like, you can. This is the type of person that you can gravitate to. Like, you're like voiceless protagonist. Like your
silent pro tag,
yeah, your silent pro tag. That's kind of like who it is. But like Miles, I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that like you really got to know who he was as a person.
Yeah, it was cool. I like the story wasn't really anything game breaking. I thought like the last third of the game, so like the last 2-ish hours, I thought that was really good. But that wasn't really the cadence for the whole game. Like if they had that strong poignancy, strong plot points throughout the rest of the game, then I'd be like, yeah, definitely buy it for like $50 or full price, whatever. But overall, like I'm glad I played it. I don't really have any desire to get the platinum trophy. I think that would probably take like 4 more hours. Yeah. I'd rather just spend my time doing other stuff.
What do you call it? I am really excited for Miles Morales too. Like that would be because remember, this is a spin-off. This is something that they probably just built up for the PS5 right away. Because honestly, Spider-Man didn't come out that long ago.
Yeah, it may have been. Was it 2019?
Right. No, not 2019. There's no way. It's like 2017, 2016. And so like them like building up a completely new game.
It was 2018 or later.
Yeah. So like. That's not that long. That's not a long time ago in like the grand scheme of things. So once they have more time to really fully develop this type of game, like I think it's going to be leaps and bounds above what this is now.
It would be super cool if they had like an online co-op feature.
Oh, that'd be
someone
so
plays Miles,
great.
someone plays as Peter Parky.
Peter Parky.
That would be super cool. Because we would definitely do that.
I would totally play that. One thing I do want to note about Miles Morales, my favorite part about it was like the Venom attacks. Not just because like how cool or strong they were, but the haptic feedback when the electricity would go through his body was super cool.
Yeah, they made good use of the controller.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, not as good as Astrobot, which we've, like, covered in depth. But, it was good. Yeah, good showcase of what the PS5 can do.
What else are you playing, Alex? What else?
So right after that, I jumped into Catherine. I was playing, like, Temtem here and there, which I think I kind of talked about in the past. And I kind of want to save all my comments for Temtem because it's going to fully release in March, I want to say. So
which is crazy to me because, honestly, there's still a lot missing from the game.
Oh, yeah. They're totally. So that's why I beat the third gym / dojo is what they call it. But I'm just going to hold off on the rest of my gameplay till it's complete, just for a better experience. But yeah, so I jumped into Catherine after Miles Morales. It's Catherine Full Body. It was on sale. It might still be on sale. I'm not sure. It was $24.99. And it's a game I've kind of always wanted to play.
Did you pick that lady? That kind of lady? No. The Alex kind of lady?
Okay, so it's interesting about Catherine, and if you know what if you've heard of it, or if you don't know what it is, then you look it up and you're like, wow, Alex is such a degenerate. I totally understand why Ralph called him this sexy Persona late, whatever. And
you admit it? You were a
no, get out of here. It's meant to have that sort of vibe. So the gist of what Catherine is you play as this guy named Vincent, and he's going out with this girl named Catherine, so the K, and they've been dating for like 5 years, and she wants to, look towards the future, actually like buckle down, get married, kids, yada yada. And he's not really ready to make those steps. Okay, so then in come this other girl named Catherine with a C.
The type of lady Alex is attracted to.
And basically, she embodies just like having fun, like no strings attached. We don't need to worry about the future. Let's just like live now. So totally like polarizing characters. And this game was originally released on the PS3, and then it re-released on the PS4 and Xbox One under the name Catherine Full Body. And the main difference between Catherine and Catherine Full Body is in the newer version, there's a third Catherine.
Named Rin.
Yes, but also her name is Catherine, but with a Q.
No, it's not.
It is. 100%.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like QA. Yeah. And she's a third. She's like this kind of innocent girl who like just has like a very like full view on life and stuff.
And then in the next one, they're going to add a Catherine, which is a cat with a C, and then Rin.
Catherine. Yeah, so it's really cool. So you make these decisions, what like you would do in the real world, I guess. Like I guess you can play it in a couple different ways. You can play it as okay, I want to end up with this girl, so I'm going to make decisions along the way to end up with her. Or what I did was I just kind of played the game how like I would if I actually was Vincent. So there's like different phases of the game where
I thought this game was social commentary on like infidelity. Is that like a thing, or?
Yeah, they pose like a lot of questions and like scenarios that like you talk to other people. So it's made by the Atlas, probably like the team that did Persona, because
I know the best developer
aesthetically, like you can just see like, okay, this is like Persona-esque. And so in Persona, like you have your confidants, like the people you interact with on a daily basis. Kind of the similar case with Catherine, where you're in a bar. And so you talk to people, you hear their story, like issues with their love life. And then the next phase is you do this like block puzzle thing, that's like the main gameplay. It's like a puzzle game. And then in between the puzzle stages, like you're asked these questions, and then you choose whichever one, and that'll kind of decide which girl you'll end up with.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like introspective narrative and like, okay, how would I truly respond to this? I've never like thought about this. So it is like a very thought-provoking game.
Can you end up with the third one, the child? Is she a child?
QA?
Yeah.
She's not a child. She's at least like past high school, I'm pretty sure.
So a college kid?
Yeah, something like that. I think Vincent is like 32 in the game.
So a child.
Yeah, it's relatively, yeah. So there's 9 different endings.
Oh, that's a lot.
This game. Yeah, like each girl, I think the 2 main girls have 3. You can end up alone. So there's like options that I don't know how many endings Rin or Q Catherine has, but yeah, it's very thought-provoking on just like what love means, like people who have like been wronged by their partners and like how they act. Like there's a lot to think about. But yeah, it's cool. I would recommend. It's a cool
What's
story.
your objective rating and your feeling score?
It's tough because there's 9 endings and there's not a true ending. Like with Persona game, like Persona 4 Golden had like 5 different endings, but there is like a canonical true ending. Which
maybe
like.
the ending that you got is the true ending. That's
no, there just like literally is not a true ending.
Right, no, but I think the point for the developers is whatever you end up with, that's the true ending, because that's who you are as a person.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like that was the author's purpose, is like there's so many different routes. Like, what would you as a player do if you were in Vincent's shoes? And honestly, there were times where
did you like your ending?
I did like my ending.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, there's times like you go back and forth. Like this girl that I'm with, like I don't want to cheat on her because I'm a decent human being. But then like some stuff happens and you're like, maybe the other Catherine's not so bad.
Maybe I should cheat on her.
But then you go back and forth, and it's like, oh man.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and this will be my final thoughts. Vincent, the character you control, is different than the Persona protagonist because in Persona you are just a silent protag, so like you literally become that character. When you play as Vincent, you are kind of Vincent because you're making key decisions, but also Vincent has his own character.
So he has his own personality. There's a history. There's
some stuff you can't control that Vincent does, and you're like, I don't want to do that, but it's just happening anyways.
Right. Like they're like, it starts out with the game, you cheat. Like that's like the first thing.
Yeah, no, literally, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't control that. Like he does cheat.
What a scumbag.
But yeah, that's how the game opens, and like you just keep making decisions. It's kind of a roller coaster. It's great. I would honestly very much recommend it. Each playthrough is like 8-ish hours. I liked it more than Miles Morales. Like I was more engaged.
Like an 8?
I think I'd give it like an 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Feeling score 10?
I don't know. Yeah, it's because I like a lot of those like thought-provoking games that have like a deeper narrative with like really rich characters.
Cone just like bust out of a window and says 13 Sentinels.
Yeah. 60-hour book. So like a personal rating might be like, I don't know, like 8.5.
So on the same level as Ghost of Tsushima, I see.
Like, yeah, that's what's weird because I also give Ghost of Tsushima my objective game of the year.
That's
an 8.5. So it's on a different rating than Catherine, different scale.
What else are you playing? You're playing a lot.
Yeah, I'm also so a couple days ago I started playing Persona 5 Royal, which we talked about, or Ralph rather talked about a bunch in the past. So I'm gonna let him talk about the games he's playing, but yeah, I'm slowly making my way through Persona 5 Royal. I'll touch on some different stuff than we.
I think we can touch back on Persona 5 once you finish it, and then we'll do like a little back and forth.
That's gonna be a while. I'm like 27 hours in, and it's like what, like a 140-hour game.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Okay.
I like it. So on my end, I'll save. So I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077. I'll save that discussion. I'll save that discussion actually once we hit the industry news stuff, so that it's a little bit more contextual. But the other game that I've been playing a lot of VR games. But recently, actually not just recently, like I've been playing this a lot. Probably 4 times a week. I've been playing this game called Fit VR. It's probably one of the best fitness games on like a VR console, like either on PSVR, Quest, Rift, whatever. And it's pretty much just like Beat Saber, but like boxing. In general,
I think I saw you playing this.
So in general, I've been playing like 30-40 minute like workouts every like other day, and it's really good, and I like it a lot. It makes you sweat. It makes me feel gross. But it's actually not bad. I have like a few issues with it. So on the store, it says that it's a multiplayer game, which is kind of true. And I looked into it. What they end up doing is that they record sessions from other players, and they just put their scores up.
So it's just like a ladder.
It's kind of like fake.
Like a ranking system.
So it's like a ranking system with like 10 people that they randomly select. And the reason I found this out is because I was playing with my friend Joe, and I wanted to play Fit VR with him because he also got a Quest 2. And it was one of those things where like I really want to see like how Joe and I play this workout thing, even though it's like kind of a solitary experience, but you do get to see their performance on the screen. And then like it adds a sense of competition while you do it.
So I'm surprised they didn't do something like Guitar Hero, where like you're doing it side by side.
Right. That's kind of what it is, but like it's all fake. It's all manufactured.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer, and I really wanted to do that. The other thing too is it's like I want to say it's a $30 VR game, which is not bad, but like it
seems worth it.
Right, it is. But like the issue is they have like these DLCs for like 4 other workouts. They're all $10 each, which seems like a lot to me. Like honestly, because like they're not like. Not to like discount the artists that make the music for the game, but they're not like Billie Eilish. They're not like Imagine Dragons or whatever.
The production isn't up to par with.
Correct. Yeah. So like when you buy DLC from Beat Saber, you can buy the DLC for the Imagine Dragons track pack, and there's like 15, 20 songs there, and it's $15, and there's just a big discrepancy there.
And KDA Pop Stars.
No, but like honestly though, like you're not.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to like look down on the artists that are making music for this game, but it's not like a titled popular person.
It does, yeah. I feel like I would have less reason to go back and play that song
Right.
Since it's not like something I like genuinely like would listen to.
Right, and I know it's a lot about the workout, but like it just doesn't seem right to me because it seems
different.
very expensive. So I do want to buy it though, which is why I'm complaining.
The DLC, you mean?
Right, yeah. So the other issue too with the game is not that I'm not doing it because it's really good for me. Like it's a really good workout. Totally. It's something that like I hate running, and this essentially burns the same amount of calories, but like when I run, I always notice every step. I'm like, oh, this takes forever. But
do you even hate running outside?
It's fine, but like it's just one of those things. It's winter, yeah. But like you definitely notice. But with this, because you're actively trying to box, and then you're actively trying to beat the scores of the other players, you don't notice it as much. But like it's just one of those things that there's another issue where you can only do them by like class. So you can't pick a particular song. Like you can't pick a song that you like and just work out with that song. You have to do the full class.
Oh,
right.
That's
so
kind of
like
weird.
Right.
Okay.
So like if there's a song within a class that you really like hits hard and you really want to make
all the songs,
or like make a playlist of a song that you like, you just want the songs that you like and you want to make a playlist and you want to use that every time you work out. You can't do that. So that's kind of like a bummer too. So, but it is very good. It's really fun, makes you sweat. It says that it burns 1,000 calories every time. I doubt that's the case. It's probably around like
nutty.
For like 40 minutes, I would say you're actually burning maybe 300, which is still really good.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah,
it's a good arm workout too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm playing. And then Cyberpunk's been taking over my life over the holidays, but I will talk about that once we touch base about the news. So with the news, while we were on break, Cyberpunk just ate up all of the oxygen.
Dominated the news in the worst way ever. Yeah.
So if you are living under a rock, Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red released during the holiday season. And it was a complete crapshoot. It was terrible. So Cyberpunk had terrible launch with a bunch of bugs in the game, which is ruining people's experience, especially on console. On the PC, which is where I'm playing. It had bugs initially, but now it's kind of like fixed and it's kind of smoothed over. But on the consoles, it's terrible. So I'm just gonna run through all of the news articles that went through during the holiday season.
Sure, yeah. And again, this is after it was delayed 4 times. Right, it was originally supposed to release April,
spring.
I think, April 2020.
Then late spring, then summer, and then fall.
Yeah, it was April 2020, got delayed to September 2020. Got delayed into November, and then finally December it launched. Yeah.
All right, let's run through this. Okay, first and foremost, CDPR sends out review codes to reviewers a week before the embargo, so a week before the game releases, but only for PC. So that's a red flag there immediately.
Yeah.
Also, when they were reviewing the game, or if they're going to do a video review, they could only use pre-approved footage from, trailers, things that have been curated by CDPR.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red.
I'm sure you had the same reaction too. Because I watched IGN's video review first, and they did have that disclaimer like we're only allowed to use the footage that they provide. And I'm like, okay, huge red flag.
It's like feeling kind of sus, very Among Us.
Definitely like some eyebrows being raised. But then they talk about we had glitches. So then you're probably like, okay, maybe it was just that. They just don't want people to just focus on the bugs and the glitches, which I guess I kind of understand.
Right.
But still sketch.
So then next, the game launches, and then PC is kind of weird, but then you find out that the console versions are terrible. They keep on crashing. The textures are loading in like really slowly. It's running at like 10 frames a second. And I'm not normally a person, well, now I am because I'm on the PC.
Because you're a PC master.
But like when I was on console, if I'm like, if it's running on 30 or like 25, it's not really an issue. But like the issue with the game is that it would run at like 10, 9, or like 15 frames a second.
Just chugging
which is
along.
Not, at that point, it's not really playable.
Yeah.
So it's like really bad, and then people have a terrible time, and then you then find out why the codes were only launched for PC for reviews. So CD Projekt Red made an apology and told people to ask Sony and Microsoft for refunds. They made an apology statement, but they didn't clarify this with Sony or Microsoft. So that made those publishers pretty upset. More so Sony, because I think Microsoft has a partnership with them. But because of that, I'm sure that's part of it, but also because they were getting such an influx of refund requests for the game, PlayStation removed CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk on the PlayStation Store. Which is the first time I've ever heard that.
I was just thinking that too. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so after that news, it was leaked that CD Projekt Red had an office meeting or a team meeting for all of the employees, and it's like kind of a Q&A session with the leadership and the employees, and the employees, you find out, are very upset about what they did with launch. It clearly seems that the leadership knew that this was not ready to be released, but they released it anyway. And so those employees were really upset because they've been working on this game for like 6 years. And so once you have a bad launch, you just have a bad launch. Everyone remembers a bad launch. So from that, it looks like it was leaked, all of the kind of perspective of how upset the employees were about the launch. Next, there was news that the good thing is, like, employees are still getting their bonuses for CD Projekt Red, for Cyberpunk 2077, because usually with employee bonuses, it's based on Metacritic scores.
Okay.
So if it's like below an 80, like, you wouldn't get a bonus.
I mean, I wonder how the PC version of the game did on Metacritic.
It probably did fine, but if you look on Metacritic for the console, it's like at like 3 or 4.
Rightfully so.
Right. So, regardless of the performance, it looks like the employees are still getting their bonuses because the game still sold really well. After that, CD Projekt Red stocks is in a downward spiral, so they're losing value on their stocks.
Yeah.
And investors are suing CD Projekt Red over Cyberpunk's launch. So that was just all over the news during the holiday season, and it's just a lot to cover, and we're not going to spend too much time on it.
Yeah, I literally feel like every time I went to check on like any sort of gaming news, it was like a new Cyberpunk thing. I'm like, dude, really? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, they could not catch a break. So my question that I'd like to pose for you, is this the worst video game release in history?
So, man, that's tough, because as we did know, it was removed from the PlayStation Store. I'm not sure if it was removed from the Microsoft Store.
I'm not I don't think it is, but Microsoft definitely did make a statement. So on the store, I think Microsoft says there's a statement on the store page that this game is buggy and broken.
Unlike Xbox One. But yeah. So I think this definitely might be the worst game release in history. The only thing that kind of comes to mind that would compete is like No Man's Sky.
See, but here's the thing though, No Man's Sky wasn't broken. Like, I think there was a lot of expectation to what No Man's Sky was going to be.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like broken.
And in a similar vein to this game, they had like allegations and like, we're gonna sue you for like false advertising,
right?
Like what you said this game will be, and it clearly is not. I mean, obviously they've been working on it, they still are working on it. There's a PS5 version of No Man's Sky that launched, like, people are over the moon about, no pun intended. And I guess another game that might come to mind is,
there's a lot. There's Anthem.
That's what I was thinking.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Freaking Fallout 76.
Yeah.
So there's a lot, but like,
ooh, Fallout 76.
Right, but Fallout 76 didn't get removed from the store. Like, that is the difference. And I think that was CD Projekt Red's fault, because I think the reason it got removed from the store is because CD Projekt Red gave consumers a reason to ask for refunds.
Can you elaborate on that?
So, like, when Fallout 76 came out, they didn't make a statement. I'm like, oh, like, we're so sorry. We're like the good guys. But if you really want a refund, you should ask Microsoft and Sony for a refund. They didn't do that. They just said, hey, we fucked it up. Bad game. Sorry. Like, that's on us. We'll try to fix it as much as possible. While CD Projekt Red, you can't do we fucked it up and still be a good guy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You screwed it up. That's just what it is. Like, they said, oh, if you want to trust us, and then we can fix it later. But if you can't, then you should ask for a refund. No, people already trusted you. They bought the game. Right? So, like, with them saying, oh, like, hey, like, you can ask for a refund, it's them giving them the blessing that, oh, since CD Projekt Red gave us the blessing to ask for a refund from Microsoft and Sony, that should be legit. While they didn't clear that with Microsoft and Sony. You know what I mean? That's not part of their refund policy. It's not like Steam where, oh, like if you played less than 2 hours and then it's 14 days or whatever days, you can refund anything regardless. Sony doesn't have that refund policy. Sony's refund policy is if you touched it, you can't refund it.
There's some outlying situations.
Right.
I think if you like buy a game, then a week later it goes on sale. If you like message them about it, they'll give you the discounted rate. Right,
but like the thing is, like, CD Projekt Red literally said, oh, you can ask for a refund, and all of the consumers thought, oh, they cleared this with Sony, that means we can get a refund. So now that, like, it's such a headache for Sony now, because what's easier, just giving everyone, all these people, a refund with all these requests, or just removing it from the store?
Yeah, definitely just removing it. Like, I'm not against that decision at all. Like, I think that's smart, to be honest. Yeah, I think it is the worst game release in history, but I think a lot of that is just because they did not convey that the game was broken on base PS4 and base Xbox One, or like even the PS4 Slim, whatever. And I've heard on the Pro, like, it's better.
And on
it's
PS5,
not
it's
what
better.
It should have been.
And Series X is good too.
Yeah, basically, like, you need to play it on a next gen system. This last gen game, you need to play on a next gen system to like enjoy it, or a really awesome PC. So
I have two thoughts on this.
Yeah.
What do you call it? And I'll go talk about the game once we finish up this news stuff. But my two thoughts is, I don't know why CD Projekt Red just didn't delay the console versions. Like, release it on PC. I think that should be fine. A lot of your hardcore players that really love CD Projekt Red are PC players. And then just wait for the console. Like, there's just no way the leadership didn't understand that this was not ready. And I know people are going to make fun of it and people are going to meme it. But better, like, same thing.
Better than this.
Yeah, it's just better than this entire thing. Like, their stock's dropping. What do you call it? The investors are suing CDPR.
Yeah.
Like, they are now having a tainted relationship with Sony. Like, there's a lot of things that are super wrong after this launch, right? So that's kind of a bummer. And my other thought too is that this game was supposed to launch on base PS4.
No, that's crazy. I was actually going to bring that up. Like, those versions should be the best. Right. It was supposed to release back in April.
I think it was supposed to release the year before too.
Okay, yeah.
So it's been delayed multiple times. Like, when this game was announced like 6-7 years ago, right? Like, this was supposed to be for PS4.
Yeah. Like, those versions, the last gen version should be the best.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know, like, who knows, right? Like, it'd be great to be a fly on the wall and like what the heck is going on there.
Yeah.
It's tragic. Yeah.
Right. So I think this is, I don't know if this is the worst. I think the worst video game release in history would be E.T. The one that crashed the
one where there's a landfill
industry
in America with just E.T. games.
Yeah, so I don't think that would ever be beaten, but this is probably next, honestly.
Yeah, it's just, this had so many ripples outside of it just being like a bad game at launch.
Yeah.
They're just so, yeah. The fact that like it's not that they lied about the versions, they just, there's a dog outside. Dog barking outside. They just deliberately withheld that information.
Right.
And they tried to cover it up by like only giving the PC version out, only giving them certain footage that they could show. Like, they tried to cover up their tracks so hard, but it's like, it's going to be uncovered when people play the game. So like, what? Yeah.
It's like that kid that broke the mom's vase and like tried to hide it underneath the carpet. It was
the dead cat, I swear. Yeah. It's just like, what do you think is going to happen? It's so uncharacteristic of CD Projekt Red. Like, is it though? Like, I guess not.
It's crazy because like it's very interesting to me because I know people have put CDPR on like the pedestal when Witcher 3 came out. They're like, this is the second coming of Christ. Like, literally everyone's like, this is the best
Finally
example.
A developer
that cares, that really, whatever. Like, you know,
I mean,
when you buy that Witcher game, they gave you a thank you note inside. All the DLC was free. Like, they're like, finally, a non-greedy
And the DLC
developer.
you pay for is
really
freaking
good.
phenomenal. Like, there's so much content there.
Yeah, but I would like to note that is one instance, right? And I know that is a really good instance, right? But, like, that was one instance of a developer, right? We give shit to, like, EA. We give crap to,
sure do.
Ubisoft and all that people. But they make games constantly. So, like, with CDPR, they've only made, 4 games? Right? They did Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and Gwent.
Yeah.
So, like...
they made some, like, other Witcher stuff, but yeah. Not,
right,
like,
but it's interesting that, like, people, like, put them on such a high pedestal immediately, when it's not necessarily proven. Like, I understand that they make good games, but, like, this is what happens when you put so much trust on a product that you haven't seen yet. Like, people just trusted them immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I think the celebration and, you know, the renown that we gave to CDPR for, like, Witcher 3, I think that was fine.
Right.
I think it was exaggerated,
right,
to reflect the company as a whole. Like, what they did with Witcher 3 was great, and it deserves every little bit, but does that directly translate to the company as a whole? Now we've learned it does not. So, yeah, it's a shame. Tragic for the consumers and the players. I'm not really in that category because I didn't buy it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's always sad to hear, ultimately.
On that note, I have been playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I think I'm like 40 hours into the game, 50 hours in the game. It's a very good game. Like,
on PC.
On PC, yeah. So I'm playing on PC. I actually asked for a refund for the game at the beginning. No, seriously. Because it kept on crashing every hour. And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so Steam said, "Oh, you played too much of this." But then I realized I played too much of this, but I was in the menus the entire time.
Oh,
so
trying to mess with the graphics, make it look better.
So like, so it kept on crashing every hour, and I wanted a refund. Steam would let me have it because I played too much of the game. So whatever, that's fine. Eventually, it got fixed. I figured out you couldn't overclock your PC to run the game, because it would keep on crashing. So I stopped overclocking my PC just
scouring the forums on how to fix it.
Honestly, PC gaming. And then it started to do fine. So the game is actually very good. I like the story. A lot of the side quests feel like Bloody Baron, if you guys are familiar with that on Witcher. Not all of them are home runs, though. Some of them are pretty, like, whatever.
Have you run any quests that you disliked?
A couple.
Okay. Because I feel like in Witcher, I mean, obviously there's so many.
The frying pan quest.
Oh, or I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, when I played Witcher 3, like, there weren't any side quests I disliked. Mm-hmm. However, I probably did like an eighth of the total side quests, just because it's an absurd amount.
The way that it's built out, so CD Projekt Red, you have your main story missions. They're multi-thread. So the way that I understand it is that there's like 3 main people that you talk to, that you work with for main story quest. And like, there are multiple levels of that main story quest. So like, let's say you work with this person, and then you finish that, and then there's another layer of that thread that you go through. In addition to that, you have your side quests, which are very similar to the main quest. They're as expanded as the main quest. They're just not related to the main story. They're multi-layered. There's multiple quest lines within it. You're working with multiple people. There's a story within it, just like Bloody Baron. So I think they implemented that in the game because they saw how people loved the Bloody Baron stuff. So just imagine those side quests as like good Bloody Baron quest. So it's really cool. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Then you have your side gigs. Side gigs are not multi-level. They're like one and done kind of quests, which are the quests that I'm thinking that are like, these are whatever, they're fine. They take maybe like 10, 15 minutes to do. They're kind of their own silo within the game. It's like a lot of world building and stuff like that. That is not really, that doesn't impact, I'm assuming, the ending of the game. But they're interesting ways to get like cool guns, like meet the world, work with certain factions that you normally wouldn't interact with. And then there's the stupid crap which is like...
And then there's the stupid crap.
Right, there's the stupid crap, which is like, oh, like, buy this car, find this car, work with the cops. Like, stuff that, like, doesn't really add anything to the world. They're just random stuff, like, within the world to, like...
Oh, is it like in Miles Morales when, like, you see, like, enemy, like, gangs?
Right.
Just, like, doing whatever you... Okay.
Yeah, so... I think the bread and butter for this game are the main quest and then the side quests, the side gigs.
Yeah. Okay, that's... I like how the side missions, the side quests, and then the side gigs, I like how that's structured, because especially, like, as a working adult, a professionally casual gamer, if you're like, okay, I only have, like, X amount of time, so I can just do, like, a couple side gigs, or maybe, like, one tiered, layered side quest. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it seems like this game does have a lot of merit. It's just, if you're playing on console, if you're playing on, like, a last-gen console, like, you're just kind of crap out of luck there, which is just too bad.
I think my final thoughts for this game is that it's a very good game. There are, like, weird things about it. There's too much sex in the game. Like, honestly, like, I didn't think I would ever say this about a game, but there's too much sex in this game. Like, literally all of the billboards...
The future is sex.
No, but honestly, like, all of the billboards is, like, this guy eating out this girl's butt, like, this girl that has a penis, this guy that's in a gimp suit that has a dildo in his... Like, honestly, it's everywhere.
Guess we're putting the explicit tag on this episode.
I'm so sorry, everyone. No, but, like, it's literally everywhere, and there's nudity everywhere, like, in the game. And, like, that's one. The other thing, too, is I like Keanu Reeves in the game. I think he's cool. He's interesting. He's a very dysfunctional character. Like, he's really broken as a character, and you guys will see that.
Okay.
Yes, and I think it's based on what I'm experiencing in the game. It feels like he's trying to put up a front, and I'm not sure if that's the case. But man, the language this man uses is terrible. Like, all the time.
Like, he's just talking like a sailor.
Like, way worse. Like, maybe I'm just too, like, snowflakey. Maybe that's the case. I'm too innocent. But, like, literally, like the way that the quests are written is that you're V, right? You're the main pro tag, but the quest descriptions are written by Keanu Reeves.
Oh, so he's just dropping F-bombs left and right.
Right. So, like, there's this quest where... I guess we'll just put an explicit tag on it, like, because I can't really explain it unless I say it. Like, so there's this quest where he hates corporations, essentially, right? So there's this quest that you end up working with one of this corporate lady, and then, like, the quest description is like, I guess this corporate, like, corpo cunt is...
Wow.
No, like, seriously, like, and that's the text description. That's the quest description in the game. Like, I guess this corpo cunt really wants to work with you and is trying to, like, gag on the dick of corporation. Like, not even joke, not exaggerating.
That just seems a little over the top.
Right. So,
except
like,
not a little. It's very over
right.
the top.
So, like, I like him, but, like, he's not someone I would hang out with.
You not bring him home to have lunch with your family.
Right. So that one...
Sorry, Keanu.
But I think he's fine. I think once I get to know him some more, it'll make more sense.
I don't want to get to know him more.
But the side characters are really cool. One thing that CD Projekt Red wanted to, like, explain to people is that this was going to be a world that was living and breathing, and then all of the NPCs would have their own, like lives. Things that they would do. Like, they would have their own lives. They would go work, whatever. That doesn't happen in this game. Like, this just feels like another open world game that has a really good story and it's interesting. But it's not revolutionary the way that The Witcher was revolutionary, right? When The Witcher came out, people were like, I can't believe this side quest has multiple thread lines. And that was revolutionary for the time. At this point, like, people having lives within the city, that's been done in Watch Dogs. When I was explaining Watch Dogs Legion to you, I could look up the person's schedule and I would know that this person would be at this bar, at this place, and I'd be able to talk to them. That doesn't happen here. It's very surface level. The game is really beautiful, but the inner workings of it is very nothing.
Interesting.
Right. Like, I think what's pulling this game together is
the colorful language.
Oh, no. What's pulling this game together is, I think, the story. The story is really cool. The combat is actually really nice. It's really fun.
Yeah,
I know you don't like... I don't like first-person games, but the gunplay is really good. It feels good. The guns feel nice.
And you can just use melee weapons if you want, right?
Right. I don't like the melee, honestly. The melee's not very good. I think if you do play this game, you're probably going to run as a net runner, like a hacker. And I've seen people do a net runner where they don't even touch anyone, everyone dies. Like, it's really cool the way that they built it.
I'd probably have like a samurai sword if you could.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the game is very good, but it's not the it's not the next best video game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good video game, but it's fine.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. That's going to be Final Fantasy 16.
Oh my God. The next one. So Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct with Miyamoto showing off Nintendo World that's opening in Japan on February 4th of 2021 this year.
Super close.
Did you see it? What did you think?
Did I see it? Yeah, we watched it about an hour ago because we were putting it on this episode, and I'm like, wait, I haven't seen it. So we did watch the Direct. It was like, what, like 15 minutes?
Right.
Something like that. So if you haven't seen it, I would say maybe pause this episode and go check it on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, what I think of it, it was cool. So like,
you sound underwhelmed.
So, well, okay, here's my thing. It sounds like it would be very difficult and expensive to go to. I don't actually know though. I don't know like price and stuff. I don't know, but like I feel like if you want to go like this year, like there's gonna be a huge line to like.
I would also like to note that Nintendo World is connected to Universal Studios. Okay. So if you buy a ticket to Universal Studios Park in Japan, you'd be able to go to Nintendo World. It's like a section. It's like.
Are you actually sure of that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because I could also see like, oh, there's now a deluxe pass that gives you access to the Nintendo World.
I guess you could, but I think it's part of the package.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
We don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's everyone and their mom is going to want to go there because Nintendo it's revolutionary. I feel like everyone, to some extent, has a connection to Mario games or Nintendo to some extent, right?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Mario is definitely the most famous video game
iconic
character. Yeah, like that's not something you can argue.
Second is Cloud Strife.
No, it's definitely Pikachu.
Yeah, no, I'm totally messing around, but I think I'd agree with that. Pikachu second. But like I liked it. So if I was like in Japan, well, there are two that are coming into America in the future. Mm-hmm. We don't know. In California, Hollywood, California, and then Orlando, Florida. Yeah, so if I was like visiting like either Japan or like California or Florida, and I could just like pay to get into the park and then, wait a normal amount of time as you do in amusement parks and visit these, if it was like, like less hassle, I would go totally. But I mean, it looked really cool. Like it's obviously never been done before, but that's just kind of it to me. When I was watching the video, I'm like, this looks really cool. A lot of stuff you interact with isn't very interesting to me. Okay. Yeah.
I think they have like 2 rides, but like I was explaining to Alex, I think they're expanding the park. So they're just doing a launch for it. And as the years go by, I think they're adding new sections to it, which I think would be very lucrative. And I kind of agree with Alex. If this is the only thing you're going to see on the park, I think it might not be worth it. Obviously, if you're a fan, you're going to want to go. My main concern is that it's launching this year, which makes no sense to me.
Super close, too, yeah.
Right, so like month. Obviously COVID's still around, and it's launching February 4th. Yeah. And obviously, like, Asia's been taking COVID more seriously than other locations. And so hopefully they're, they're ready for that kind of influx. But that park is going to be very crowded. And it's going to be there's going to be a lot of people that go there. People love their Mario. So I don't know the logistics.
I'm sure they'll have a cap on how many people they allow.
Right. But I don't know what the logistics are going to be like. I don't know. Like, are they wiping down all those things? Like, it's like crazy.
Yeah, because like you punch the blocks kind of. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks really cool. Very Instagrammable. There's a lot of things that you can definitely take a photo
as we're watching the video, like, yep, gotta take a picture of that. Yep, that looked great on the gram. There's like the Toad Cafe. Everything just looks. I mean, it kind of looks tasty, but mostly like I want to take a picture of it.
It probably doesn't taste very good.
But yeah, it doesn't have to, right?
Yeah,
but like I feel like as like we're both passionate gamers, like at some point in our lives we should go to this.
Like in 2 years, probably.
Yeah, whenever it's just not a new thing and everyone and their mom's trying to go. I would definitely like to go. And I would like to note that this is Nintendo World, but it was just showing Mario stuff. So, as Ralph kind of mentioned, there'll probably be more stuff added. Hopefully, give me that Star Fox.
Are you a big Star Fox fan?
I mean, okay, I
feel like you're memeing, but like I can't tell.
I really like the Star Fox characters. I like the potential. It's just Nintendo like doesn't want to have Star Fox fans because they keep making crappy games. But like I love the one on the GameCube. Actually, both the ones on the GameCube, Assault and Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet. Like I really like those games. So I would love to be a Star Fox fan more than I already am. But yeah, they're just not giving me the games to do so. But yeah, it's cool just seeing your franchise that you love come to life. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah. Next on the news, nothing too crazy, but I guess it is crazy. EA is buying Codemasters for $1.2 billion, which seems like a lot.
It's a lot of
if people don't know who Codemasters is, they're like the really good developer for car racing games.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I believe they made Burnout.
Okay.
So they're the Burnout developers. Correct
Outside of Mario Kart, I do not play racing games.
So Electronic Arts has agreed to buy the UK developer Codemasters in a move that could see the US publishing giant wrest control of the racing video game genre. The deal is expected to close in the first quarter of next year for $7.98 a share, valuing Codemasters at around $1.2 billion. So my question for you, I don't think it's related to like this specifically, but my question for you, is this the end of small video game studios?
Yeah, no, and then there's talk about like Microsoft acquiring like the other ones. Sony has done similar stuff.
Right, so like at this point I think there's like 4 big players, well maybe 5. There's Nintendo, there's Sony, there's Microsoft, Ubisoft and EA.
Yeah.
And Activision. But I think that's it. That's where we're going to land. So like for those like
dude, Bandai Namco.
Oh yeah,
give me my
Square
crappy
Enix.
Anime games and Square Enix. Yeah, there's still a lot of big players.
But like, eventually, will there be mega developers?
Like bigger than like what Microsoft's trying to do? The way like 28 studios.
Yeah. Like literally, would they be all just like segmented into different places?
Well, I guess. I think you're kind of posing this question as a bad thing. Is this the end of small video game studios? If I was a small video game studio and Microsoft was like, hey, we could buy you out, like I'd be like, okay, yeah, please do that.
But so let me ask you this. Like, Microsoft bought Rare.
Yeah.
Right? Really well-regarded studio. People loved it. And not trying to say that they're not doing stuff they made Sea of Thieves, but like, they made
Sea of Memes.
But they made Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah.
And they made all those really big games. And then once, like, that Banjo and Kazooie game didn't launch, like, I think it was like Nuts and Bolts.
Nuts and Bolts on the 360.
Right? They ended up, if I remember correctly, they ended up making avatar items for the Microsoft Store.
Oh, woof.
Right,
what a
so
downgrade.
Like, so when I say, like, is this the end of small video game studios? Like, with the games industry, unfortunately, it's a hit-based system. So if you don't make a hit, like, you're kind of screwed. So, like, if all of these bigger companies swallow up all these smaller studios, what do you think the implications of that will be in the future?
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess...
Like, I'm worried about Double Fine, honestly.
Oh, yeah, because they got acquired. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the relationship, I guess. Because obviously, if you're being acquired by a bigger studio, you have more funds to make greater games. But then there become like shareholders, stockholders, that conversation comes in. Like, okay, we need, this sort of product. We need to hit these sort of numbers. So there are more restrictions. Maybe like the creative process is being impeded on. So,
like an example would be, for example, Sony buys CyberConnect. And so CyberConnect makes all the anime games. So like
they make the Naruto Storm games.
Right. So then that's all they make, honestly. If I remember correctly, CyberConnect only makes anime games.
As far as I know, yeah.
Right. So Sony buys CyberConnect, it's not profitable, they shutter the studios, no more anime games. Like that could happen, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean if they don't do well, then
But then you wouldn't be able to play Storm. You wouldn't be able to play Jump Force.
That's totally Jump Force 2. I don't know. It's the thing is like they're giving them more revenue, more profit to make better games. I'm trying to think of what the trade-off is, and that'll just depend on who is acquiring them. So I think ideally it should be a good thing.
Yeah.
But just in a perfect world, maybe it isn't. Maybe they don't do well and then they get axed instead of having another chance like Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah.
It is the end. I think it will become more of a norm for larger corporations to acquire smaller indie studios. But I think there's definitely some like Supergiant.
Oh,
I see
do not
them.
touch Supergiant.
Exactly.
Please.
I mean, I think like they're profitable enough. They have Ralph's like putting on his hood. He's like scared for Supergiant games. Hades was his game of the year.
It's not even just Hades. Supergiant makes good games.
No,
like
I know.
Bastion, Transistor.
Transistor's great. I think they're a studio who they wouldn't be bought out.
Yeah, but the difference is like if Sony is like, we'll buy you for $3 billion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd like to say, you know what? Supergiant seems like an awesome developer. They'd be like, hey, but then you need to watch out for our employees. You need to give us X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But then after the Cyberpunk stuff, you're like, I don't even know developers anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so
I don't know
either. You don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it is something that you foresee happening in the future?
I think it's becoming more of a norm, which is very understandable.
Right, because the reason
I think it can be good and bad.
The reason I'm posing this question is that Microsoft just bought like ZeniMax Studios.
Right. Yeah.
That's not a small acquisition, right? So like
very big, yeah.
It's kind of crazy, and like a while back, I know for the longest time, and Ubisoft was trying to like off this, try so hard against it, but I know that Tencent was trying to secretly buy Ubisoft shares for like the longest time, and they finally quit, but like they wanted to own Ubisoft at one point. Interesting. So, I don't know. We'll see. On that note, our next segment is budget gaming. A lot of the sales are the same, but we did want to like bring that up still. I see a really good one on there for PlayStation. Oh man. But Xbox Ori Will of the Wisp is $14.99. The Batman collection is all of the Batman games, $11.99. PlayStation, I think the Black Friday / holiday sale is still going on because when I looked up the sales, they're all the same. So okay. Watch Dogs Legion is still on sale. Last of Us 2 is still $30. The thing that Alex wanted to bring up is Catherine Full Body is $23.99. Yep. And so like just check out the PlayStation store. There's a bunch of sales on there. Nintendo Dragon's Dogma is $14.99. Burnout Paradise, Codemasters. Hopefully. I hope that's right. Maybe I'm completely wrong about Codemasters making Burnout. I don't follow the racing game scene that much, so honestly, I'm just following your lead on that. Right. So that's $24.99. I do want to note that EA owns like Need for Speed, so if they buy Codemasters, they just have all the racing games. Not so Mario Kart, bro. I guess. Crash Nitro Kart. On Steam, Ghost Runner is $22.49, and Daemon X Machina, which I seriously thought was a Switch exclusive, is on Steam for $38.99. Epic Game Store, Jurassic World Evolution is free, and Fuser, which is the DJ game by Harmonix, is on sale, and that's $39.59. On that note, thank you for sticking around for our 16th episode of Professionally Casual Gamers. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions, send it over to professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram / Twitter @professionallycasualgamers. See you next week. Keep it casual. Make 2021 a great year. Bye. 2020-1. Yeah, oh, God.